Everybody, David here. First of all, I want to thank you for being a loyal follower and watching these videos. What you're about to see is a interview I did with Russ Dizdar, actually a show almost 3 years ago. And the reason I'm re-releasing it is because I really want Russ's work, his ministry to continue on. And I don't see too many people following in his footsteps. So I'm going to do my small part to promote the amazing ministry that Russ and Shelley Dizdar had. Of course, they've gone on to be with the Lord now. And by the way, if you'd like to see more of his work, you can go to davidheavener.tv. I have a channel that's dedicated just to him. All of the many videos I've done on him. You can watch over 700 shows on davidheavener.tv. Just go there and sign up now, davidheavener.tv. Otherwise, I want you to watch this. God bless you guys. I love you. 10 million ritually abused people.
Yes.
In the United States.
I believe that that's first generation only.
What is an Amish witch?
Yeah, they have powwows, which is kind of gatherings, and it involves what they don't like to talk about because among the Amish and the old Mennonite, there's a big fear of Satan.
This is the Amish we're talking about. The horse and buggy with the hat on and the suspenders, sure. Right? Okay.
And mostly the nicest people in the world. Some of them, okay. Just mostly you think in terms of the nicest people in the world, nice little kids, cute little kids in buggies.
Right. But are you telling me within the Amish community you actually have witches and you have witchcraft and ritual abuse?
Yes. And in the Amish witchcraft, then some people will go to now the Amish look down on this. But they all know they have this in their communities.
They look down on it, but some of them are involved in it.
Yeah, it's like a shaman and others. Some that will use herbs plus spells plus other things. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't have the hardcore, darker, satanic side of it.
Okay, so when they use spells, who are they casting a spell on?
Well, it depends on what the issue would be. If they're looking for a healing thing for somebody... Again, it all depends on what the need is and what ritual they're going to do, and in that case, maybe like in a lot of the cases with certain witches and others, they could get paid to do something against somebody.
Okay, so it can be used against somebody, or it can be used to heal somebody.
That's how they would look at it.
That's how they would look at it.
We would see the source of power being the same, still dark spirits.
Right, from Satan. What is an SRA?
SRA, and that's the term used since the beginning of the 80s. Satanic Ritual Abuse.
Okay, all right.
So we take teams in. The goal in all of that we do is evangelism, prayer for healing, prayer for deliverance. So whatever we do, whether it's a gas station person, whoever, we're out to do missions. But we're invited to and sometimes called to go in and talk to ritually abused individuals, which means that we're probably going to get into deliverance. Demons are going to be in a person, and we're going to have to deal with that. Now, in some of these cases, we've been taken to ritual sites where actual rituals have been done. The two symbols over here, to the left, you'll find the star, like a witchcraft pinnacle. Pagan pinnacle. To the right of it is another symbol, but I don't know what it is.
Wow.
In some of these cases, it involves high-level crimes of blood sacrifice that we've had to turn in evidence, or pedophile rings, or rape issues. Regardless of any rituals they do, we still have to engage that issue too.
Okay. Now, you've got a group of guys, and there's some girls in this group. What is it you're going to do specifically this weekend with this group of guys and girls?
Sure. So we're going to first go to meet some of our other friends who are boots on the ground. They're in the area where a large pedophile rape ring that we've been engaging in victims are. We'll meet with them. We're going to get information on new victims, new perpetrator information.
Are you going to arrest them? Are you going with the police officer?
No, we won't do that this time. What we'll do is we're going to go in. We are going to meet some new victims, talk to hear the stories. We will take information down. We'll seek to offer ministry to them and prayer for them and whatever. But it may be that if we get the right kind of information, we will then go to, and now we have some good law enforcement friends there. We will go to them like we did a month ago and they initiated a organized crime investigation.
So we run an organization called Save Them. Save Them is a global counter-human trafficking organization. And we partnered up with Dizdar to work with his teams, because a lot of the victims we rescue, particularly in South Africa, have crossovers with the occult and religious crimes. And we've had victims who appear to have satanic ritual abuse, multiple personality, other people call it dissociative identity disorder type of situations. And we're trying to understand how to help these victims.
Okay, so what you're doing is you're praying to the Lord. He opens a door that you guys can walk through.
Sure.
That you're going to actually expose the demonic, the satanic ritual abuse that goes on in these communities.
Right. The Amish have always had a problem with incest. They even had a genetic issue because of that problem. And then the Amish Mennonite, which are really conservative Mennonite, they're almost alike, but you'll see yellow buggies, black buggies, and white buggies, a little difference in all of those there. But what we began to notice was this is a decades and decades of a generational thing where the Amish leadership have said, when we find somebody that did this, or someone comes forward in church and says that they have raped their sisters and whatever else and all these others, they come forward. If they'll confess this, we forgive them all at a church meeting. Then we declared a new day. No one's permitted to go to law enforcement. No one's permitted to go outside the community. So hundreds between 60s and 40 and 20s and down to the teens of girls have never been allowed to go anywhere to share their stories. So it continues to repeat itself and repeat itself and repeat itself. It's how they deal with it. They call it Amish Sovereignty. They do not have to go to law enforcement. They declare Amish sovereignty and that they're not under the laws of the state of Pennsylvania.
10 million ritually abused people.
Yes.
In the United States.
I believe that that's first generation only. We're dealing with second, third, and fourth. We're dealing with 18-year-olds, 21-year-olds. Now we're dealing with 12-year-olds. They're in child psych wards all across America.
I'm with Russ's team, the Boots on the Ground team. Why is to be a voice for ones who have been kept silent for so long, who have been hurt in the deepest and vile of ways, and to bring Jesus and truth into their lives to free them, to bring healing.
You mentioned something about the police only look at cases from this point and the future, meaning they analyze the case, the evidence, and they try to track down the perpetrator.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
What you do is you go backwards.
Sure.
Because finding the perpetrator is only part of it. What you do is you go back to find who.
We have to.
We've actually assisted the authorities in unlocking cold cases just by identifying the patterns of satanic ritual sacrifice.
Wow. And they call you in when they see signs like this.
Correct.
They call you in. Obviously, they call you in because I want to say you're an expert at it because you've been around it a lot, right?
Right. And we are spirit-filled Christians, which means we have a lens for seeing what's happening.
And we have the power.
Correct.
To come against it.
Correct.
Which no one else does except us.
That's correct.
We say that very humbly.
See, publicly, and a lot of people have heard of satanic ritual abuse. They've heard of multiple personality disorder. Now it's called DID, dissociative identity disorder, among the psychologists and psychiatrists. It's in their manuals, the DSM-4, DSM-5, their diagnostic manuals. So they recognize it, and almost every psych ward in America has had these victims to try to help them since the 80s.
Okay.
But the problem is thousands, then tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands beginning to show up. Now the psychological, association, American Psychological Association, others know, there's millions.
Is there any kind of markings on their body? Is there any kind of signs? Is there anything that you can see?
Right. So, yeah, obviously the victims are very physically beaten and traumatically tattooed, or they've got different scars from the rituals. But most of it is in the way that they can't maintain personality.
Okay.
If you meet somebody that says they're multiple,
Right.
meaning they have personality purposely split
Right.
with programming, demons, so all that stuff's in there, which means that someone very sophisticated did this, and it's for control.
Program multiples come specifically, in our experience, from the satanic line of things. We have the same type of victim coming from black magic environments, and it's through repetitive trauma. And it's the way the brain behaves.
We don't believe this, but they believe that they're creating powerful, with greater abilities. They're creating superior humans through demonic enhancement, through, they believe, DNA enhancement, through separate personalities, so they can have a lot of abilities to do things.
Our experience is that not a single victim, whether it's human trafficking or SRA, has ever been restored who hasn't found their identity in Jesus Christ.
Amen. In other words, there is no restoration except for turning to the blood of Jesus.
Correct.
When we come back, I want to ask you, who's behind all this? What force, what entity? We know Satan, but I'm going to ask you a question I don't know that anyone's ever asked you before when we come back. I want you to go and sign up right now to davidheavener.tv. It's exclusive just to the members. You'll see we have 10 channels, okay? We have the Prophecy channel, Saving Baby channel, the original TV series channel, the Health and Survival channel. We have a new channel called the Alien Demon Disclosure Abduction channel, and it's got a lot of L.A. Marzulli's videos that I've done with him, but a lot of other videos by other people. You can see that channel right there. We've got a new show up called Underground Alien, and it's the only place you're going to see these. You will not see them anywhere else. Please go and support the ministry by signing up. You can get 2 months free if you do it now. davidheavener.tv. The brand new DVD of Last Evangelist. You can get it right now. It's limited collector's edition. It's got the new episode on it, along with band videos with me and Michael Lake and Lisa Havens, Sheila Lazinski. Also, if you want to see Last Evangelist, the episode, it's exclusively episode 1 on davidheavener.tv.
Hey everybody, well this concludes our time together. If you'd like to support the ministry, please go to davidheavener.tv/give or call 844-806-0006 or text the word chosen to 91999. Don't forget to share this broadcast, and I love you.
And we have the new End Times DVD, 8 hours of me investigating things like Satanism and demonic powers, Illuminati, New World Order, Antichrist, One World Religion, End Times Miracles, Bible Prophecy, and the alien demon connection with L.A. Marzulli. So I want you to text the word chosen to 91999, the word chosen to 91999, and get the End Times Investigation DVD.